he had his moments of bad, and he was in fine weather. So, I mean, it's opening. It's like we've said, it's the week one.
Oh, that fucking thing today. The NFL is a league of opportunity. First openly gay player, first female coach, first player with no hands.
You know, he was talking shit last night.
What?
He was tweeting shit at Giants fans, going, "Where are you at now? Why are you guys so quiet? What's going on?" And I'm like, bro,
you need to shut up. Because honestly, if I was the Chiefs right now, I'd be licking my lips at trading Chris Jones and you for Jonathan Taylor and fucking Pittman.
Well, we could say it now since we started breaking news. Chris Jones got a 1-year deal.
True.
They were like, all right, we're going to.
I knew that was coming immediately after that loss. I'm like, Chris Jones is going to feel very justified after that loss.
And the other one, D-Hop is apparently already angry, is throwing fits on the sideline yesterday.
Oh, because Lattimore out-jumped him on a ball?
And Tannehill's just not throwing it down the field. He's just having to stop routes to get the ball.
Bro, have you ever watched Tannehill play? Like I said, 3 interceptions in the opening game for Tannehill is fitting.
Yeah, that game. Ugh.
I mean, thank God for the Saints doing enough to win it. And Derek Carr, I think Derek Carr, if I gave his performance a rating, like I feel like that's a good way to do is like give quarterbacks the A, the B, or the C. I'd probably put him at like a C plus. Like he wasn't great, but he had flashes. Like he had that one throw down the sideline, like super long, and it's like, okay, there's the Derek Carr we know. You know what I mean? Like,
and he fucking already started. You can see it build a relationship with Olave because that dude was on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd give him about a C as well. I honestly thought that he could have been better, but it's also his first game with a brand new system, brand new team. Everything new is around him, the stadium, everything. So like, I'm like, all right, like you said, it's overreaction Monday. It always is the first week of the season. There's a couple teams that I'm not going to say is an overreaction when we talk about it and I say some shit because there's a couple teams that really kind of just looked like they did last year. But like the Commanders, which we'll talk about, because that was rough.
Arizona gave you fits.
Yeah, Sam Howell looked okay. I mean, he had the one bad mistake, but otherwise he looked okay. But during that game, at one point, I was like, you kind of remind me of Davis Mills a little bit.
Yeah, like you're waiting for the one big mistake, right?
Yeah, like he didn't ever look fully in command of himself. He kind of looked like he had moments, and then other moments he was frantic. And I was like, it reminds me a lot of Davis Mills. Oh, this game's going to be nuts tonight. It's my bedtime now. Sick days called. Bruh, you sick a lot. You okay?
Hello, Darlene. Hi, Lex.
Hi, Darlene. Sorry, we were chatting. Before we actually dive into football and go break down week one, Adesanya lost.
Yeah, that was something I wanted to bring up. I mean, Strickland beat the hell out of him, dude.
Yeah.
Strickland was not afraid of him at all. Like, did you watch the fight?
No, but I've seen a fuck ton of like those, people that recorded it and shit.
I watched the whole thing, dude. Strickland stood in the pocket the whole night. I have never seen anybody walk Adesanya more into a corner and Adesanya not want to throw anything for the sheer fact that every time he threw, Strickland hit him 2 or 3 times on the way back.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the one that knocked Adesanya down when he threw that hook so wide. Yeah, when he threw that hook wide, Strickland just hit him with that counter right hook before he even hit. And
Strickland was real tight all night. Like his boxing, like you can tell he's like I don't know if you know any of his backstory, but he comes from like straight abuse, and like fighting was like his first ever relief from that. Like he talks about his dad and stuff like that. He was in a motorcycle accident that nearly ended his UFC career because his kneecap and all the tendons and ligaments came out the side of his leg with it.
Yeah, I knew that part. So his story was crazy coming back from that injury.
So yeah, it took like almost 2 full years for him to come back. And then for him, he's been like a road warrior in the division, but I mean that was the best he's ever looked. I mean, You could tell he was kind of in that psycho mentality where he's like, you can hit me. You're not going to hit me hard enough to knock me down, but I'm certainly going to pound you. Like, it reminded me of Johnny Hendricks GSP. Remember when Johnny Hendricks beat the hell out of GSP and then the judges called it for GSP? It was similar to that, but he didn't wait for the judges to call it. All right, he did.
Unfortunately, unfortunately, it did go to decision.
It did go to decision, but it was clear. It was as clear as that one. They just called it properly.
Yeah, I was a big fan when because I fell asleep before the fight ended, and when I woke up and saw that Adesanya lost, I was thrilled. I hope.
By the way, the odds would have never told you that fight happened because Adesanya was a plus 645 favorite.
Yeah, I know. He was huge. That's why I didn't expect to wake up to that. Look, it's not that I'm against him getting the title shot because he proved he was ready, but Duplessis was the guy that should have had the title shot. But Adesanya said no to fighting him. So he took Strickland instead. And now Duplessis has been all over Twitter about how he's going to fight Strickland next, and Adesanya needs to figure out why he looked like an amateur before he comes back for a title shot. And I was like, all right.
I don't necessarily. I mean, especially because he's lost in the last 4 fights. He's lost his title twice.
He's lost his title twice, and then if you go back to 5, it's when he lost that light heavyweight fight he went up to. So he's lost 3 of his last 5.
Yeah, so it's like okay. Maybe he doesn't get the shot right away. Maybe make him earn it a little bit.
Well, for a while he was starting to fight like John Jones has lately, where he was just trying to score points. But that's not how Adesanya can win fights because he doesn't have enough power, straight power. He has to hit you with the perfect combo. So Jones, if he's scoring points and it's not working, he can hit you with power. And he also has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so he can do whatever he wants.
It almost seems like certain fights that it looks like John is taking off. He's not really taking the fight off. He's trying a new strategy that he knows he can win anyways.
Yeah, like he can always fall back on something.
Yeah, John's like, oh, I could choke you out. I could, kick you to death. I can hit you hard enough to knock you down multiple times and then choke you out. It's like he's got the arsenal. Adesanya doesn't have that same arsenal.
No, he's that Muay Thai flash kickboxing stuff, which works, but you can't sit back and wait. And he, like you said, he was letting Strickland just stand in the pocket and come put him backward on his back heels, and he's never going to win on his heels.
Right. So I thought it was a great card. The whole up and down on the main event.
I was sad that Tuivasa lost. I like Tuivasa a lot.
I mean, he got beat up. That dude.
Yeah, I know. I saw his face the next morning.
That dude he's fighting is so big, like so tall. Volkov, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he's like 6'6". He looks like a straight Viking, dude. I mean, it was such an unfair match. I was like, oh, that's rough.
There's Tuivasa actually said he doesn't go home very often. He doesn't let his son see him because it's hard for him to separate from his son, so it makes it harder. So he spends most of his time in Thailand, and I forget where the other place is, doing his training, California. And his son stays in Australia with his wife. And he said it's real hard on him, but it's just easier this way because he noticed when he was fighting back when he used to train in Australia and see his son every day, when he had to travel to go to a fight, it would weigh on him mentally, and he just was never fully prepared. And I was like, that's crazy.
Right.
But I don't know what else happened in the sports world besides that. The Red Sox got swept by the Orioles. I know that. Other than that, I don't know.
Let's see. Coco Gauff wins the U.S. Open.
Oh yeah, she was on the Today Show this morning.
Yep. And God, what's his name? Won the men's. Why am I drawing a blank? He's won like 24 majors.
Dijakovic, got it.
Yeah,
that's all you had to say. I was like, I got it.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know who won because I don't watch, but I saw his name like 3 times on Twitter this morning, and I was like, I don't know why. I didn't look at what it said. I just saw his name. It's like, I'll just keep scrolling.
So I think he beat like the world number 3 or the number 4 in the finals. So
Man, there's not a better tennis player in the world. So
no, the only one who's up and coming that can challenge him is Alcaraz. So yeah. Oh, he beat Medvedev in the final. That's who he beat.
Never heard of Medvedev.
Yeah, I think he's the world. Alcaraz is the world number 1. Djokovic was the world number 2, and then Medvedev is the world number 3. So,
okay.
I think 1-2 will flip flop, of course, but yeah. So that was over the weekend.
Holy crap! The stadium is loud.
The USA failed to medal in basketball.
I know, it's hilarious. I mean, I know they sent the B squad or C squad, but still, it was funny as shit to me.
Because, yeah, they lost to Germany, and then they didn't beat Canada in the third place game.
Yeah. I know in soccer, it's international break. Teams are taking the Euro. Oh, my fucking Jesus Christ. The EuroLeague qualification games are going on for place, to get into the Euros next summer, which I think is always interesting. Euros are the same summer as the Olympics. So,
yeah.
All right, I'll be back. Cloud is shitting. I just let them in when you joined. I'll be back.
All right. Other than that, in the sports world, I think we covered a little bit yesterday. Texas beat Alabama over the weekend. That's a pretty big win for them. Looks like Bama's falling off from their long time sitting on that high horse at this point. Looks like Georgia's going to be like the elite of the elite at this point, and other people are going to be chasing them for now. I don't think that after this year it'll be that way. I think we'll have a little bit more parity in college football with some of the way the players are moving around now with NIL. So, yeah, I think it's pretty good right now, and it'll only get better now with the rules they have in place. And let's see. So Florida State beat Southern Miss 66-13. See, this is the reason people want big conferences and more games is you have Penn State playing Delaware, number 7 playing unranked, and the score was 63-7. Like, I would rather see Penn State 10-4 and having them play actual teams. Like, Georgia played Ball State, great, 45-3. Oh, what a wonderful game, Like, the best game matchup might have been Miami, Texas A&M, which ended up 48-23. And I think it's just one of those things where you need teams to actually compete with each other. There might be a 1A, 1B type group, things like that. But, I mean, it's finally going to get to the point where they have to play good teams all throughout the schedule because of the way the conferences are going to be set up and the way the college football playoff will play out.
You said Georgia's like going to be the dominant team everyone's chasing. I think Michigan has the best shot at competing.
Yeah, I would say
those are the two teams.
I think what I was trying to get at was that with NIL, players are starting to move around more, and you won't see the Georgias and Alabamas just have everybody anymore.
Yeah. No, I mean, exactly. I agree with you. Which I'm kind of excited by because Wisconsin's got to figure out how to get weapons. Like, we have a decent quarterback, but we lost to Washington State. We just have no wide receivers. He has no one to throw the ball to. I'm like, this is fucking terrible.
Right.
So we're starting to get, like, last week against Buffalo, we struggled early because they were just stacking the box against the running backs. And then Washington State just stacked the box again this weekend. I was like, there's nothing they can do. There's just nothing.
Right.
Yeah, I'm hoping this really helps with the conference changes. Like you said, the NIL stuff. I'm hoping this changes the entire landscape of football because, I mean, it's why I don't get that excited by the first few weeks of college football because there's the occasional good big name game, but like like you said, Georgia versus Ball State, and I don't even remember. Yeah, Penn State versus Division One AA Delaware. They're not even in. They're not even in the fucking regular
Yeah.
grouping of college football. They're in
Oh,
AA.
yeah. Let's get a prep. Like, if you want to do that, get that done before the season starts.
Yeah. I'm up 10.5, and he has Tyler Bass. What do we think? Depending on how big the scoring is, you should be all right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be tight because this could be either you're okay or you're fucked because it's either going to be a really high scoring game because both offenses have the potential to do it, or it's going to be a very low scoring, grind it out, beat each other up game because they both have great defenses. Personally, I think this is going to be such an emotional game that I think the defenses are going to lead the game, and I think you'll be all right. Tyler Bass might put up 8 and make it close, but unless you guys have crazy scoring, I think you should be okay. I was actually about to go 3-0 in the 3 leagues I'm in yesterday, but I played against the Cowboys defense last night.
Oh, God.
And I wound up losing by 12, and I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's going to be tough to beat when that defense gets to do what they did yesterday.
Well, and I didn't in that league I had Christian Watson, and I was like, I don't really know who to sub in his place because like my bench was kind of because I also had Kelsey, so I was like, I already had to sub someone in for Kelsey. I was gonna put in. I didn't know who to put in. I was going to put Dobbs in, but they said he was going to be on a snap count. So I was like, probably not a great idea. So I put in Jalen Hyatt, and then the Cowboys the Giants offense takes a shit. And I was like, wonderful. ABC, sorry. ABC is the game. I bet you enjoyed life, Boogie.
Yeah, having the Cowboys see. Hell yeah.
What's up, Tesco?
Let's go in the house.
For those who are curious what we're talking about, since I forgot you guys can't see YouTube on Twitch. Anyway, we caught up on football. I mean, everything but football. So let's get to week 1. We have to talk about every game. All right, we talked about Thursday night a little bit yesterday. We can finish talking about it now. Chris Jones getting signed is huge for the Chiefs. Their defense is going to take a next step up. Their defense already looked okay. I think this is going to help them really settle in. But honestly, and I don't know, you can tell me if you think I'm wrong. But I think the Chiefs offense might be in trouble. Yes, they're going to get Kelsey back, but everyone just saw how bad they are out wide. Do you not just play double Kelsey and make them beat you elsewhere?
Yeah, and you may get burnt once or twice, but I mean, you saw what that product was, right? Like,
it was so bad that I'm like, until they show that someone steps up, I would just be full double Kelsey at this point.
Well, and they don't have an elite run game either. So, like I said, honestly, I still think, even though Jones signed that 1-year deal, you look to move him for some other pieces.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that at all. He's the only real piece you can really afford to move. Unless someone really wants one of your receivers, they think that they can turn them into something. I don't. Maybe someone wants Sky Moore.
What are they growing hands in a lab?
I mean, MVS was all right. He just apparently stopped getting open, I guess, because he stopped getting thrown to. Early in the game, I was like, damn, this guy. And then he just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, and then I heard Sky Moore was going to be the guy who stepped up to become the number 1, but it doesn't look like that's happening. So,
yeah, I don't know. And on the other side of the ball, Detroit, they did everything right. I mean, they were on the road for a big season opener, loud crowd, hard to handle it. It did show that they have a big issue called they don't have anyone to throw to besides Amon-Ra. I mean, Laporta is going to grow into something, but right now he's still a rookie tight end. He'll have his ups and downs. So they got to hope somebody steps up next to Amon-Ra St. Brown. I know Jameson Williams is there, but we didn't see it last year. So,
well, and I think their run game is solid. So at least they have that piece down.
Yeah. The only complaint I had about the run game was like Jahmyr Gibbs was the better back. Like, I don't know why they just kept David Montgomery exclusively for most of that game. I was like, you should just rotate them a little more, split it a little bit more.
No, I was okay with it. He's on my fantasy team, so
That's why I wanted Gibbs more. He's on mine. I was like, come on.
Yeah.
But no, the Lions are an impressive team, and I got to see what they do against the next team they play to continue to see if I'm as excited. It's easier when you don't have to cover any receivers because they can decide not to catch the ball themselves,
Even when they're wide open. So
yeah. So,
doesn't
but the
matter if you
Lions
cover 'em or not.
The Lions play the extremely injured Seahawks on Sunday next week, and the Chiefs, as I already knew this one, play the Jags because I'm kind of intrigued by that game right now.
That game's gonna be fun.
But all right, so the first game we picked, I don't know which one it was, but I had them written down in an order already, so we'll just go with it. Was Saints-Titans, in which the Saints won. Sorry, I don't know why I almost said the Titans won. That'll never happen. I'll tell you what, defensively, this game was fun.
Yeah.
I was very impressed. 16-15 for those who didn't catch it. I was really impressed by the Titans defense.
I just want to point out the stat they showed first in the Buffalo Bills versus New York Jets game was Josh Allen, 80 turnovers, tied for NFL lead the last 5 seasons with Jared Goff.
Wow, Jared Goff is tied for the lead in turnovers. I guess the last couple of years in LA were really bad.
Yeah.
So, that's shocking to me, though.
Yeah. I was like, oh, way to just throw that up there fast.
I mean, they threw yesterday right off the bat. They threw Dak. They even asked him before the game about leading the league in picks last year. I was like, oh, okay. So we saw Tannehill throw 3 picks.
Typical.
Yeah. We saw, I don't know, I thought Byard looked really good. Jeffrey Simmons always looks really good.
Simmons looked great.
And I don't know, Derrick Henry still hasn't lost a step yet. I keep waiting for it.
Yeah, everybody says he's coming, but he seems to be doing just fine.
Yeah. He even got that, what was it, a 46-yard pass or something, 50-yard pass? I don't remember what it was, but that.
Yeah.
I was like, dude just keeps on playing the game of football at the highest level.
Well, it was like a screen pass, right? And he just took off.
Yeah. And on the other side, like we said before the show, Derek Carr, an all right game for your first time with a team.
I mean, he threw for over 300 yards.
Yeah. Pick and a touchdown. I don't think he fumbled. He did not. There was a lot of that yesterday, so I had to check. I'm curious how much better this offense looks with Alvin Kamara in 3 weeks.
Yeah, it looks like Michael Thomas is back, right?
Yeah, Michael Thomas, Shaheed, and Olave look like a hell of a 1-2-3. So get Kamara in there, let Javonte Williams go back to being, or Jamal Williams, go back to being the true number 2, like he's supposed to be for teams, and I think they'll be fine. And their defense, as long as it stays healthy, that was an impressive display. Last year they really struggled with pass rush, and they got pass rush this week. So I was impressed by what I saw out of the Saints defense. Granted, it was against Tannehill, so I take it down a little bit on that one. But I don't know. I'm excited to see where the Saints head. I know me and you both picked them to win the NFC South. I do think there's a team down there that might visit Green Bay East. That's what a fan sign just said.
Visit Green Bay East. That's great. That is actually a well done sign for tonight.
He also had a Rodgers Packer jersey on. That
makes sense.
Wonderful. All right, first series for everyone that isn't watching yet or might be traveling to get home to watch the game. 3-and-out for the Bills. And they start with Breece Hall on the ground, and there he goes. There he fucking goes.
Yeah, I sat him this week just because I figured he might get a limited snap count, but I just want to see what he's got.
All right, the next game we called Jags and whoever they beat. Colts. That's right. This game was a hell of a lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
Anthony Richardson is a freak, dude.
Yeah, that injury at the end of the game had me real nervous.
I guess it's a bruised knee, but he said he's okay, but they're not sure if he's going to play week 2.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to risk him getting real injured right off the bat. If he's questionable, they'll roll Minshew.
Oh, for sure.
But he is a fucking freak. He is so hard to bring down. He's
so big. I think, what did they say? His weight and height, 6'4", 244.
Yeah,
like that's Derrick Henry as a quarterback.
Yeah,
that's Derrick Henry as a quarterback. That's going to be tough to stop when he runs the way he does.
Yeah, and he was the best runner on the team. Drake Jackson looked like crap. 13 carries for 14 yards and 2 fumbles lost for Drake Jackson. They're missing Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss, I'll tell you that. But I don't know. Jake Funk came in the game towards the end, and he had 2 carries for 10 yards, averaging. I mean, that's 2 carries, but you might have to look at him as the backup because Drake Jackson, those fumbles were huge.
Yeah.
Might have been a different game without him. Pittman, though, still is Michael fucking Pittman.
Yeah, and it seems like Richardson figured that out pretty quickly because he just kept hitting him.
Yeah, he got targeted 11 times in that game.
Yeah.
So, and then on the flip side, Trevor Lawrence looked a little shaky at first. I was like, what's happening? Every quarterback looked a little shaky this weekend. But, yeah, Lawrence settled in, and Calvin Ridley proved he might be one of the top receivers in the NFL, like me and you have called.
It looks like he hasn't lost a step in 2 years.
Yeah. He looked phenomenal. ETN looked good. Bigsby had his struggles. A rookie running back, you get what you get right off the bat. But he had his struggles. But, man, this Bills defense is after Aaron.
Yeah, but they took a penalty, so they gave him a free set of downs. Actually, is that holding? That might just be 5, right? No, it's a fresh set.
Yeah, it's 5 from the spot, but it's a first down no matter what.
Right. And it looks like they're getting through this. I think this is what everybody thought about the Jets, right? Is that they might have problems on the line.
Aaron's hurt.
Uh-oh.
It's a soft landing from Sheriff Floyd.
It looked like he rolled his ankle underneath.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I didn't get a good angle on the first replay. I might be like 2 seconds behind you. Yeah.
I actually think you're ahead of me. I think I just saw it for the first time.
Oh, okay.
I think it may be just some tightness, like something.
He's got both trainers helping him off the field, and he's not putting weight down.
Wow. Can you imagine? Zach Wilson, put your helmet on.
He's in the game. That little baby face. Oh, Robert Salah looks pissed. Oh, man.
I'm watching it closely. Sorry. I just want to see. Look like an ankle, maybe. I'm not. It's so hard to tell when these guys go down, though. It looked like an ankle or a foot, but
yeah,
this is the problem with the Jets. You got to be able to protect the guy, right?
Yeah. No, I mean Aaron's old. He can't move like he used to. Like he used to be able to get out of that. But
what was the one thing that Tom Brady hated when people went near his legs after that injury?
And now Aaron's at that point in his career where he doesn't want anyone near him.
Well, and that's what everybody thought with Aaron, is that he's going to be able to get the ball out quick and everything. But it's like, bro, you need at least 2 seconds. Like, they're not even giving you 2 seconds.
No, yeah, they're only if I can't remember who their offensive line is, but I'm pretty sure like their only good one is their left guard, I think.
Wilson to Wilson already. I like it.
But well, that drive got killed.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But anyway, the Jags, this game was a lot more defensive in the first half than I expected. I really thought this was going to be a shootout.
Except for Calvin Ridley. I mean, Calvin Ridley had 10 of his 11 catches and like 100 of his yards in the touchdown in the first half.
Well, he finished with 101. He really did nothing in the second half. But,
right.
Yeah, no, he blew up. The Colts, I don't know who the number 1 corner is. So there was a point where Zaire Franklin was on Calvin Ridley, and I was like, what are you doing? Like, he's a freaking nature at linebacker, but he ain't covering one of the top receivers in the NFL.
No, not even close.
But we both had both of those games right.
I think I probably finished about 500 on the day, maybe one
I
or.
didn't actually put it in yet. Oh yeah, because it's tonight's game. We don't have anything yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
But then, I mean, finishing 500 on a day where the sure bets of everybody losing that was supposed to lose not happening kind of throws a wrench.
As of right now, you're 8-7 through week 1. As of right now, before tonight's game, I am at 9-6 before tonight's game.
I was going to say you would have gotten the one where
with the Lions.
I was going to say, yeah.
And with tonight's game, either we'll be even or I'll be 2 up because I took the Jets, you took the Bills, so we'll very well be somewhere tonight with that. But anyway,
looking good right now for me.
Yeah, especially if Rodgers can't come back, that'll be real interesting.
That would suck, dude. That's the last thing I want for them because I feel like the Jets deserve like a good season.
Yeah. Super Bowl lists and Super Bowl 3. I mean, fuck. Who did we just do? Jags, Colts?
Yeah, Jags.
Jags play the Chiefs next week, which we already said, and the Colts go visit Houston next week, which will be a very interesting matchup.
That will be interesting. I guess I'll touch on the Texans when we get there.
All right, Jags, Colts was that one. So Bucks, Vikings is next. The only 1:00 game we got wrong.
I can't believe how bad Minnesota looked. Like typical fashion, Justin Jefferson does whatever he wants, and they just stop throwing the ball to him.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a turnover fest for Mr. Kirk Cousins. 2 fumbles lost and the pick. That was ugly. That was real ugly on Kirk Cousins.
Madison looked pedestrian.
It's time for. I mean, he didn't look good either, though. But I think it's time to at least look at Ty Chandler a little bit. I think Madison needs to be that split back guy. You have as a partnership. I don't think you can make him your true number 1. Hawkinson didn't get out to much either, though.
No, he didn't.
He had 8 catches, but only for 35 yards.
I mean, that's 1 more yard than Madison had on the ground. So,
yeah.
I guess I shouldn't be so critical because I mean their line is not very good. Their line is terrible.
No, their line's terrible. I mean, it really is. There's a good few teams we're going to talk about how bad their lines were this week and how much it's going to affect them. The Vikings.
I will say, Jordan Addison looked great. He had 6 catches, 15-yard average. So,
yeah, no, Jordan Addison was great. Me and you talked about the reason we don't think the Vikings are going to do well. We said they have a bad defense. Their defense couldn't stop Baker Mayfield, really. I know he didn't have a phenomenal stat number game, but he was accurate. They have a cart rolling over to the blue tent for Rodgers.
You know what I did see in that game, though, that I had to chuckle about really bad? Was that Mike Evans went out on like a post route and then cut in across the middle and was wide open, and the ball was perfectly placed, and he bricked it off the ground. Like he dropped it. And I was like, no, you can't be asking for more money now.
And then he makes that beautiful 35-yard catch for a touchdown.
I'm like,
and then I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if you saw it after the catch when he got the touchdown. Everyone came over to celebrate. When he got to the sideline, he walked over by himself and sat on the bench. I was like, he's done. He is done.
You know, as weird as it sounds, I know it's Baker Mayfield, so like give it 5 games and you'll get a real image of what it's going to be. But with Godwin and Evans, I mean, they could put up some points.
20-17 in Minnesota, so it's not like it was an easy game to go to. They're loud as hell up there. And you know what? The one thing I've got to give Baker credit for, and I know we say it all the time because we don't like his accuracy, we don't like his lack of ability to throw the ball well. That dude is the toughest motherfucker on the planet, and he does not care. Some of those plays he made, and like when they had the ball at the end of the game and they just needed to get one first down and he just lowered his shoulder and boomsticked to get across that line.
Yeah.
I was like, the dude is just playing for the team. He doesn't care. And I was like, that's one thing I will always love about Baker
I will
Mayfield.
never fault him for that. I just feel like he kind of got set up, right? Some of these guys where you're put in these positions to get set up for failure because there's such a high expectation for you, and nobody really knows what you're going to be.
Yeah.
And I think you're seeing it now with like what happened with, Trey Lance and then Brock Purdy the following year is none of these guys are a sure thing. And hell, Trevor Lawrence, I've never heard the word generational talent used more, right? And it's like, bro, he's still a kid. Like, just give him some time. Like, and Baker, we've seen what Baker is. I think Baker, his ceiling is basically what Kirk Cousins is, but his bottom is, 32nd best in the NFL.
Yeah, no, 100%. His bottom is as bottom as it gets. But
like, he might not even start all the games. So like, that's something you have to understand with these guys. I mean,
for the Bucs, it's going to come down to how tough is their schedule defensively. Like, how tough of defenses is Baker going to have to face? And if he faces them consistently and has bad game after bad game, we've seen him get in his own head and dissolve really fast. So when you look at it, you go, well, what do the Bucs have? Well, they get the Vikings and Bears, so they get two fucking terrible defenses.
They could win the division. They could win this division.
I mean, yeah, the Saints are really I don't know, the Falcons and Saints. It's going to be tough no matter what.
That's what I mean. If you say you go 1-1 with the Saints, but you beat the Falcons twice and the Panthers twice, you win the division.
Yeah. But so they get the Vikings and Bears to start, and Baker might get real excited because those are two real bad defenses. But then they get the Eagles and Saints back to back.
Yeah. Okay. You take the L, but you take the L against the Eagles, but if you could beat the Saints, you're sitting pretty.
Oh, he is struggling into the locker room. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I think Rich Eisen somewhere in the world just died.
There's a lot of people that had high hopes for the Jets, man, and I'm just saying I'd hate to see it end on the first series of the season.
Pretty much like the fourth play of the Jets offense. That's fucking rough.
Yeah, it would have been the fourth because it was 1st and 10 after the holding, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof. Oh, man.
Josh
Allen's slinging it right now.
As weird as it sounds, I would prefer it to be like a foot bone or like a hamstring pull.
Yeah, if it's a knee or an ankle, it's bad for his age and all the abuse he's taken. It would be real bad. Anything in between there or around there is okay. I don't know. I don't want anything bad to happen to him. Never liked him as a person, but I like what he's done with the Jets. I like that he's taken a franchise that's, really struggled for a very long time. And he came in, and instead of being his normal, full of himself self, he's turned around his attitude, and I love what he's done. Hi, Kiwi.
Hi, Kiwi. Yeah, again, like we said, it was good because he is that guy when he's happy.
Yeah, and I like seeing it.
Legitimately happy in New York right now. Probably not
at
the moment, but
I hope not. Anyway, the Vikings next week get the Eagles in Philly, and the Bucs, like I said, get home game against the Bears. So,
yeah,
there's our next week games when we talk about it on Sunday. I got to figure out who Thursday Night Football is, though, real quick, so we know when do we have to, because that's the Eagles and Vikings, so we'll have to pick that after we're done today.
Okay.
Cardinals Commanders is the next one, and I don't have a lot to say except for the Commanders really somehow let Josh Dobbs, who doesn't even know, they said it 1,000 times during the game, doesn't even know the names of the teammates he's fucking playing with.
Yeah, he came out and said that himself, so it's like, okay.
Bro, they found one part will cost Bro, you fucking had me worried. You have fucking surgery today, and you're sitting here talking about your car. When you said they had something wrong with it, I thought there was something wrong with you. Well, that sucks. I mean, a lot of fucking car places fucking. I don't know. I don't know how it is in New Zealand, but in the United States, I don't trust any car place the first time.
You got to
I'll
shop
get a
around.
second opinion. Yeah, I'll get a second opinion, and if they both say, and I won't tell them what the other place said, and if they both say the same thing, I'm like, all right. But a lot of places see something very minor wrong that isn't really significant, and they'll be like, "Oh, you got to get this fixed. It's going to cost you $1,000." And I'm like, "Oh, no, thanks."
Or in the case of the United States, what they do is they tell you it's going to cost $1,000, but they can put you in a newer car for the same price you're paying now, and they'll get you to buy a new car instead of replace a $1,000 part, so that you have payments for the next 5 years, even though you're 1 year into your new payments.
Hold up. Dad was supposed to take you to surgery, and he decided to go hang out with his friend. And you have surgery in 20 minutes, and you're still sitting at home.
Listen, Kiwi, I drive a BMW. I know how expensive they are.
Oh. Yeah, Don knows. I drive a fucking Chevy. So
the BMW dealership did that to my mother. My mother had a $900 part to replace on her car that was nearly paid off, and they were like, "Well, do you want a brand new one with a better package for the same price?" And so,
is there any chance you can drive and then Len can come pick you up after? I don't know. I don't know. This is why it sucks when your best friend's across the world. You can't help out.
I mean, if I had a teleporter, maybe.
Pippa is at 2. I'm on the way, so I got to take her with me. Oh, Jesus Christ. So you have your surgery, and then you have to take your dog to a vet. It doesn't seem it doesn't seem very well planned out.
I was going to say, that's a tough plan, no matter what, in case anything goes wrong.
I know you guys have to wait 3 months to get, surgery scheduled. So I know it's hard, but that just doesn't
I
seem
feel like
great.
your dog could get a reschedule, though. I'm just saying.
That seems rough, Kiwi. I don't know. I don't like it.
And don't get me wrong, I would like my dog. I'm the same way. So.
We were talking about the Cardinals Commanders. Look, Sam Howell looked okay. His first game as a starter, really. I know he started the last game of the season last year, but he had that fumble loss, which was a bad fumble to lose, to be honest, if anyone watched that replay. He threw the pick. He got sacked 6 times. This Commanders line is terrible.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, I know you'd rather can yours than hers, especially since she's having a hard time getting up and walking, but
yeah, that's what I mean. As much as I'd love for you to make sure she has hers, the proper thing would be get yours and reschedule hers.
But anyway, Commanders, I don't know. That O-line is so bad that I don't know what to expect anymore out of this team. I was like, they might compete a little bit in this division if Sam Howell's okay, but hard for your quarterback to be all right when you can't protect him.
Yeah, wait till they play Dallas.
Right? We just saw what that was, which we'll talk about, and I hate to talk about, but it's still Zach Wilson. Okay. I was like, is that Rodgers? That looked like a Rodgers throw to the ground.
For what you said earlier, what channel? The game is also on ESPN Plus for anybody that wants to watch it streaming.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Which is great because I'm here, so I'm streaming. I'm not watching it on a TV,
Yeah, I have it on YouTube TV, and
yep.
We have ABC through it. So, and on the flip side, I don't know. James Conner actually looked okay.
Marquise Brown looked okay. Yeah, there's pieces there, but what do they get? We've seen they're literally tanking.
Yeah, I got to give credit to that kid, the one young player they have on defense. He looked really good. Zaven Collins.
Yep.
He looked real good. I hope I hope he continues to develop while they. I mean, this is the development year for everybody that's young on that team.
Either he's going to
Everyone that's
continue
old,
to
it's just-
develop, or they're going to move him as well.
which they could do. They're the Cardinals. They can move a lot of things. I honestly think James Conner and Hollywood Brown are going to try and ball out to be able to be moved.
Yeah.
I think they're really going to be those two players that you could see on offense. They're all that's really left. No one's going to trade for Zach Ertz at like 50 years old. So it'll be just those two, I think, that have value on offense. All right. I didn't look. Figure it out. Cardinals play the Giants next week. And the Commanders play the Broncos next week. The
Commanders
next game
Broncos will be interesting.
yeah. So will the Giants Cardinals potentially. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, the next one we called 49ers Steelers.
One of the better shellackings of the day.
It was just embarrassing. I felt weird saying it was going to be really close, and as I was watching the game, I was like, "What did I think was going to happen?"
Yeah, that was. They made it look like Pickett really regressed. I think the Steelers lost more than the game there too. Cam Hayward will be out for the next 8 weeks.
Yeah, big loss. I'm glad you mentioned that.
And there is rumblings that because of that injury, the Steelers may try and get J.J. Watt to come play.
He's in the CBS booth right now.
I know, but listen, maybe he's got the itch. I mean, he bought a football team, and
he did say he still feels the urge to play football every now and then.
I think the biggest
offseason.
I think the biggest thing for him is his kid, his baby.
Well, yeah, his wife is a professional soccer player. She's not stepping away, so he wants to be there for his family, and I think that's admirable. But I do wonder if that is the team that could get him to step into football again, because he's got both of his brothers on that roster.
Yeah.
But the Niners, I mean, I don't really have much to talk about except for Brandon Ayuk fucking balled out.
It seems like Brock Purdy is very comfortable with him.
Yeah. It was weird to see Kittle so limited, but I think maybe the injury had something to do with it.
I mean, CMC balled out, right?
He dominated that game.
That 65-yard run he had was disgusting. A little spin move to evade a tackle.
That spin move literally made me go, holy shit, out loud. Like I literally said it. It's like, holy shit. I was so excited to watch that play. I love watching CMC run the football. It's just so clean. But I don't know. The Steelers look terrible. Their defense was okay, but it's hard to be good when your offense can't move the ball. With 2 minutes left in the first half, they had 1 total yard of offense.
Yeah. And then in that drive, Deontay Johnson looked fine.
Yeah.
He looked like an actual wide receiver there.
And what the fuck?
Najee Harris was not even at the game, apparently.
It was Jalen Warren, apparently.
That offense was just atrocious. And
it was weird to me that Allen Robinson was the best piece of it.
All I heard today was, and especially for like an overreaction on Monday, is how much longer do the Steelers give Tomlin?
Yeah, it's an overreaction. I honestly, it's whether is Pickett really the guy or is it the offensive line? Because he was under pressure the whole game. Again, it's the 49ers, so maybe that's just because he's playing the 49ers.
And with the pieces you have, even if you ended up like a medium range team, maybe lower third of the league, you could go get a quarterback next year. There's about 9 of them.
Yeah, there's some really big names next year. A guy like Quinn Ewers would do it really well in Pittsburgh. But I don't know. I Pickett really at one point I was like, dude, this guy ain't it. But again, it's overreaction. It's the first game, so we'll have to
never trust a quarterback who wears 2 gloves.
Well, he at one point just dropped the ball. It was snapped right to him. He just dropped it. I was like, "This is why I don't trust you." You
I
wear
saw
2
that
gloves.
multiple times out of Kirk Cousins, and he makes a lot of money. So
He just negotiated a new deal too. Took a little bit less money. I think that was because he's trying to help the Justin Jefferson deal get done.
I think him and Justin's connection is great. They just have a lot of glaring other pieces that are real shitty.
Yeah, that O-line, man, that is a terrible O-line.
Yeah, I think you kind of almost have to protect Kirk like you would at like Tua at this point, being like, he needs as much time as possible.
Yep. Yeah. Niners play the Rams next week. And
that'll be riveting.
The Steelers try and rebound against the Browns next week.
That's an interesting game. That is a very interesting game. I mean, I think the shining light of that game was when Watt sacked Purdy and almost got the sack fumble. He got the fumble.
He did get the fumble,
but Purdy tucked his arm behind his back and kept the ball underneath him. Such a weird play, but
yeah.
Oh, that was the play we missed. Was the weird one in was it in Indy where the ball bounced? The guy from the Jaguars caught it off the ground and just stood there, and then Grover.
Oh yeah, that's right. When T-Law got strip sacked.
Yeah.
And they thought it was a forward pass. So the guy, when it bounced, just grabbed it and stood there. Tank Bigsby, like I said, a rough day for him. He had a fumble as well. But yeah, he just stood there with it, and then the Colts defender was like, "Bam!"
It was Grover. I can't think of the last name right now, but
I don't have volume on. I'm curious what Robert Salah is saying about what's going on.
Grover Stewart. Yeah, that's who did it.
Yeah, Grover Stewart. There you go.
It was like, hey, listen, they didn't blow the whistle, so I went up, swatted it, and we took it, and Buckner took it in for a touchdown. Oh my God.
Oh.
I just saw the way he got stripped after he picked up the ball. Josh Allen's got that turf stuff on his head. I don't know.
It's going to be a defensive showdown now, 100%.
Yeah. I guess they're going to call that forward progress was stopped.
Yeah.
I most of the time with the quarterback, that's what they would call it.
Yeah, I mean, he does get straight up, which is normally when you call it. When somebody gets their back completely straight, you're like, all right, forward progress. So I get it. I'm rooting for the Jets here just because I want to see them overcome losing Rodgers already. But I honestly, if the Bills lose, if the Chiefs, Bills, and Bengals start 0-1, that would be the craziest scenario anyone could have ever.
I'm all for it, though. I'm all for it.
Yeah, so am I. Oh, I'm 100% behind it. As we talk about the Bengals, that's the next game we picked. Bengals-Browns.
Oh, my Lord. What an atrocious showing by the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not one to give weather all the excuses, but I will say weather affected this game for sure.
Yeah, but at the same time, playing it. Both teams played in it.
And Joe Burrow looked fucking horrible. Jamar Chase couldn't get open. Kadarius Toney had more fantasy points than T. Higgins this week.
Joe Mixon couldn't get anything going on the ground.
And Nick Chubb did Nick Chubb things on the other side. I
feel like that's the exact game they needed Samaj P. Ryan for.
Yep.
And now
he looked good. We'll get there, but he looked good this weekend.
Yeah, I feel like that was the game where he would have shined for the Bengals, and he's not there anymore, so...
Yeah, and you could tell they didn't feel comfortable with any other complementary pieces. They tried 3 different running backs.
Yep.
None of them did anything. Deshaun looked okay. He, like you said, he looked before we went live. He looked better than he did last year, but he still has a good bit of way to go.
Interception, baby. Woohoo!
Oh, you're ahead of me now for sure.
That wasn't even close, bro.
I have them circling Diggs and Gardner as a matchup right now.
Oh, you're probably just getting there then.
Hey, agent, what the fuck?
That's what I'm saying. That was brutal.
That was
That
3 or
wasn't-
4 yards overthrown. Does he just not have touch? Does he just go fucking wing it?
Is he? Yeah, he's got that T-Law syndrome, you know.
That's like Brett Favre, man. Oh, it's down the field, full arm. Like, I don't know. I don't know. That is rough. Like we said last year, too many turnovers from Josh Allen. This game is yours now without Rodgers, so just don't make mistakes, and you guys probably win the game.
Yeah, I'd be trying to give the ball to Breece Hall as much as possible.
Yeah, if you're the Jets, Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook better step the fuck up.
Dalvin Cook's looked pedestrian, but I mean, mix in Breece Hall so you can get those 20-yard runs off, like no problem.
Yeah.
It's
you
like,
want the big physical bruiser of Dalvin, even if he doesn't get the yards. Let him wear out the defense so Breece can just get that one big pop.
Him and Bijan Robinson, the last 10 drafts, have the highest smash factor of any two running backs. And Breece Hall is higher than Bijan Robinson, meaning they break tackles, they take contact, they fucking run through people.
I'll tell you who actually might now be one of those people. Wasn't in college football for some reason, but Dameon Pierce still has that boom.
That hit stick.
We get to that Ravens game, man. I can't wait to talk about that game. Ravens fans are going to hate me today. But anyway, this game was just it was a sloppy shit fest, but the Browns won it, and the Bengals looked lost. Again, we're not going to overreact and say they're doomed. They started 0-5 so far in week ones under Zach Taylor. Joe Burrow's 0-3. It is what it is.
We were talking the stats, right? Cleveland has 3 wins of 21 points or more in the last 20 years. All 3 of them are against Cincinnati. Joe Burrow is what, 0-3 in Cleveland now?
0-3 in Cleveland and 1-5 against them total.
Right. So like he has a much better record against Patrick Mahomes than he does against the Cleveland Browns.
He just apparently can't handle the Battle of Ohio. I don't know.
Yeah, Ohio was built for lovers, so maybe he's not a lover. I don't know.
I thought that was Virginia's for lovers.
I don't know. It's an album title.
But anyway, Nick Chubb looked good, which
okay.
is what we
so
expect.
The Jets are listening to me. Breece Hall's in the game.
Yeah, I am a good bit behind. I'm watching Caleb Williams.
Oh, look at that. And he's gone for a 50-yard run. Oh, he's to the house, baby. He might get caught. Yeah. He did. He got caught at the 10. So from his own end zone to the 10.
So the Bengals, I don't have to look. I know they play the Ravens next week. And the Browns, we already said, play the Steelers on Monday Night Football. Remember, next week is the double header on Monday Night Football.
Oh, that's a good one. We
normally start the season with, but they wanted 9/11 to have the special moment, so they let 9/11 have that moment and put it next week as the doubleheader. The Browns, we talked about it maybe, or did it happen during the game? Conklin tearing his ACL and MCL?
Yes, he is done for the season.
Yeah, so the Browns lose a big piece of that offensive line. And the Bengals better fucking pick up because, goddamn, they play one of their toughest opponents all year right now. That Ravens game with them is always good. And this is the week to rebound. Marlon Humphrey will not play. We'll talk about it on Sunday. We make our pick, but Marlon Humphrey is not going to be playing this week. So it is Jamar Chase's time to get his ass back on the field the right way. Man, Dalvin Cook sucks.
Yes,
I just watched the very first run after Breece Hall made that run, and I'm like, well, he dove forward for a yard.
That is very typical of Dalvin Cook now. Great spend of $8 million.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he's going to give Breece Hall time off, which is like essentially what you need, but I wouldn't pay a guy $8 million for
that. If anyone remembers Michael Carter, his rookie season 3 years ago had 900 yards for the Jets. Why is he the third string? I just don't get why you spend $8 million. Michael Carter can be the easily good enough backup for Breece Hall.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me.
It really didn't, but they did what they did. I'm curious, though, if Rodgers stays injured, like if this is a significant injury, if they look for another quarterback.
Yeah, I guess. Where do you go?
Colt McCoy. You're not going to trade for one unless Rodgers is out for the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess you just got to go with Colt, or you maybe trade for like Tyrod.
Bruh, it's so typical of the Jets, though, right? Brees Hall breaks off a 90-yard run, essentially. And then they put Dalvin Cook in the game for 2 runs and then put the ball in Zach Wilson's hands for a down so they can go 3 and out and now have to kick a field goal.
Yeah.
Like, the dude who just got you there might want the ball.
Like, even if you need to burn a timeout to let him get his little bit of rest, do it. He'll get you the fucking momentum.
I would have handed him the ball 3 more fucking times. I'm sorry. I don't care. Like, bro, you want to test that? You want to test that ligament? Let's test it. And I get that might be a stupid strategy, but like, I'm trying to win this game. If you beat the Bills here, look at him. He looks bad. He's like, fuck you guys.
All right. Panthers Falcons was the next one we called.
Another shit show game.
Yeah. Look, it's cool that they want to make Desmond Ridder like the definition of a game manager, because like 15 of 18 throwing the ball, you'd be like, damn, that's a great game.
Bro, hold on. But he started 4-4 for 0 yards.
I know. He threw to himself for -3, I think. And then threw like 2 little screen nothings. But anyway,
by the way, we saw that first throw and catch by some quarterbacks was to themselves multiple times on Sunday.
Yeah, Desmond Ridder and Bryce Young.
Yeah,
in the same game.
Yeah,
and I think Stroud did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Stroud did it against the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
I don't know. Look, you have weapons. You have Drake London. You have Kyle Pitts. Why is Desmond Ridder becoming nothing? He is like little. And by the way, Tyler Algier, welcome back to the game.
Like, what did you say when you drafted him in that one? You're like, I
was like, he might be the guy. He still might be their down running back. And he was 15 carries compared to Bijan's 10, because like you said, Bijan's going to be their top receiver. He didn't have the most yards, but he had the receiving touchdown.
Yeah, and
he had the most targets at receiver.
Algier's going to get some cleanup duties and score some touchdowns for anybody who has him in fantasy.
And he broke off a 22-yard run. They both looked, him and Bijan both looked great. The Falcons looked terrible in offense besides those two. Their defense played a pretty good game. It could have been better, but again, I think that happens when who's the guy they traded for from the Lions?
Which position?
Corner. The one the Lions used a first-round pick on out of Ohio State 2 years ago, and then they traded when they got, oh, my God.
Okudah?
Yeah, Jeff Okudah. I think that defense is going to get even better when he gets there. That team, the defense looked good. The running back pairing looked great.
Okay, so there's a boot on his foot. It's not on his knee. So it's either an ankle or a foot. For Rodgers.
Yeah.
Because if it was his knee, he'd be in some type of device up there.
And a crutch.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not a good thing, but it's not necessarily as bad as
I honestly think the worst thing would be like a Liz Frank.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's kind of what I'm worried about.
That would be like worst case scenario, because those take a full year minimum to heal. Because you can't do anything for it. You just have to let it heal.
Yeah, with his age, his healing's a little slower.
I'm sorry. I'm going to say this again. I say this in every sport. These are the times where you say, look, I want to be able to put 2 guys a year on the juice while they're healing and have them test negative before they come back. It'll be regulated by the sport. If the guy wants to take some steroids to come back faster, we let him do it. I'm telling you.
As long as you're not positive during the game, I don't give a fuck.
That's what I'm saying. Look, we're going to allow a bunch of shit, right? If it's primarily used for recovery and we can regulate it, could I designate 1 or 2 guys a year? Like, you lose Brees Hall, right? So instead of a year, he can go get like stem cells. He could do any type of steroid, things like that. It's like, wouldn't that be, if they're allowed to take whatever to get better faster? I'd be cool with it.
Be good for the sport too. It would help their superstars come back.
Yeah, you also have to regulate it. You have to be the ones administering it. It has to follow protocol, all that shit. But I think it's doable. I know it sounds weird, but it's something like you can do as an adult if you want. Certain steroids
You always
are
better
illegal,
start wrapping up.
like HGH. You know what I mean? Like testosterone replacement therapy, things like that. So it's just one of those things I always play with in my head. I'm like, it would be pretty cool if they allowed those guys, like especially the superstars. Like so you almost have to make a decision, right? Like you lose a lineman and you're like, okay, do we wait or do we put him on there?
Yeah, it comes down to like how important is that lineman too. Like obviously, like someone like Zach Martin for the Cowboys, you'd do it.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
if it was Dak, you'd be like, all right, we're the same team with Cooper Rush. We're fine.
Yeah.
Tony
I mean,
Pollard,
we'll
I
get
might
a
say
good
yes. CeeDee Lamb, I might say yes. But you only get say you only get 2 a year, something like that. Where you have to actually be just
strategic
choosy with it. Yes.
Yeah. But while we're finishing out the Panthers Falcons, Bryce Young looked like a rookie quarterback in the NFL. I'm not criticizing
I'd give him like a C- D+ for his first game. Did he have a touchdown and an interception?
2 picks, 1 touchdown.
Okay, yeah.
20 of 38, so a little over 50%. It was your first game in the NFL. You played a division rival. Miles Sanders had a good game minus his fumble. Chuba Hubbard looked good. And Hayden Hurst was the only receiver that stepped up. That might be the biggest hindrance to Bryce Young is that they don't really have a great receiving core.
DJ Shark didn't play, right?
Yes, DJ Shark was out.
I was going to say, and so he's probably one of their better receivers, so I can understand that.
Thielen's declining. He's more of like that veteran. We need him there for third
and he's
down
dealing with an injury, and he played through the injury, so I will give him that. But there were signs there, but you could definitely see that this is why they used to not play rookies the first year, right? Like you can see that
at least the first half of the year,
right?
Yeah,
where they were just
Mahomes didn't start until week 17 back in the day because when he came into the league, because they let Alex Smith take the reins the whole season, and then the final week they had division spot 1 clinched, put Mahomes in for the game just to get him some reps. But yeah, like even Patrick Mahomes didn't start.
Right, so it's like this is why they used to do that, is because these guys aren't specifically ready for the moment, but a lot of times what they're saying now is we need to evaluate them sooner because we got to know it within 4 or 5 years if this is the dude.
Deranged. I don't even know what to say to that question.
Is it a pet rock or like a feral rock?
Or is it the Rock?
Yeah, the Dwayne the Rock.
Because my answer would simply be Dalvin Cook. Or his brother.
I was going to say possibly his brother right now. I might be there.
He looks pretty useless today, too.
Let's see. 6 of 6. No. So 1 of 2 receptions, 4 yards, 24 yards rushing. And there's Stefon Diggs.
I'm assuming Sauce is either getting burnt or not covering him.
I don't think Sauce is covering him currently.
Hold on. On this play that I'm on, he's on. Yeah, Sauce is on Gabe.
Yeah.
And Bryce Hall is the one covering Diggs.
Yeah, and it looks like they cut in front of.
Granted, that was Gabe Davis, that play.
Yeah, he cut in front to cause that commotion.
Yeah. It's weird to see a captain's badge on Gabe Davis.
Doesn't make sense.
But Falcons defensive side of the ball did everything well except for cover the 2 backs. They couldn't handle the 2 running backs, but it's hard to carry. That pairing is ridiculous. Algiers so young, right? Bijan's young. Did you see my new fantasy team name?
Let me see.
In our league.
No, but let me get there. Oh, Yeah, but it's Bijan Mustardson.
No, just Bijan Mustard.
No, he has a company called Bijan Mustardson.
Does he really?
Yeah, it's the Dijon of Bijan.
That's fucking cool as shit. I didn't.
Yeah,
I did.
you can go to bijanmustardson.com. He sells his own Dijon mustard. It's great.
That's fucking cool.
I think that's some of the best fucking marketing ever.
All right, next
Corny as
game.
it is, it's great because he's going to have a short lifespan in the NFL, and he's going to need something to fall back on. And way to get ahead of the curve. Like, that's brilliant.
The next game we have to cover, or we covered that we got to talk about, Ravens Texans.
Oh, well, this was one-sided, even though it could have not been. The Ravens.
Yeah, the first half was
super sloppy.
The first half the Ravens looked like a nightmare, and Lamar looked bad the whole game. He just didn't take care of the ball. He was running with the ball just out and about, like he just looked like he hadn't played football in a while, which he hadn't. But he did it. It was all over the place. And then the bad news of J.K. Dobbins is out for the year with a torn Achilles. This is his fucking third season-ending injury in his 3-year career. So that's real bad news for J.K. Dobbins. It also does not help the running back cause of them not being replaceable.
Because he has to be replaced. He, as a running back, has to be replaceable because, look, 3 years in a row, you've been hurt.
Yeah, and as you guys might be going, what do I do in fantasy if you have J.K. Dobbins? It's not hard. There's 3 options here, and they're all great options. Justice Hill, we saw what he did, 2 touchdowns in that game for the Ravens. Gus Edwards, he's going to eat a lot of the down-the-field yards for the Ravens. And then the other one, and I know he's picked up in a good bit of leagues, but there's a good bit he's not. I think he had like a 35% roster rate as of Sunday. Kyren Williams.
Yeah. I can't believe they didn't call that touchdown back. That's nuts. Josh Allen's foot was about halfway over the
I think
snap line.
I think the rule is any part of his body still has to be on or behind.
Oh, okay. Well, it was on it for sure because half his foot was about over it where he threw the ball from was ahead of it, but there was still part of his body behind it.
Yeah, so they just said it in the booth. They said any part of his body has to be on or behind the line.
Oh, yeah. He was basically standing on the line, half his body forward, half his body back. So, okay.
Yeah. But otherwise, the Ravens look really – Zay Flowers, dude. I know I've called it all preseason.
He was their best player by far.
I called it all preseason. I thought it was so funny last night. They were watching when I was watching the Cowboys-Giants games, and they were talking about Odell's catch for the Giants, and then they tried to talk about how Odell looked okay in Baltimore, and they were like, he had a couple blocks and he drew 1 pass interference, and I was like, but he had 0 catches? I was like, I mean, he had 2 catches for 37 yards, but I was like, you guys are like trying to make it sound like he's still a great player. I think he's just going to be at this point, that veteran guy on the team.
Yeah, he's more of a distraction, like a decoy.
Yeah.
I think Flowers looked incredible. I think as long as their receiver core stays healthy and he gets to play the slot, he is going to be dangerous.
Yeah. And Nico Collins looked like he has a connection with that young Mr. CJ Stroud.
Yeah, that was actually very surprising. It didn't look that bad.
Yeah, Woods and Collins, to be fair.
Yeah, Woods was super surprising. Like,
they were like, that veteran receiver, Robert Woods, keeps getting targeted. And I was like, yeah, where did this come from?
Dalton Schultz didn't really get targeted, and I think that's going to be something that Stroud's going to grow into because he's going to need to.
Yeah, I think tight end just takes time to build that relationship with. I honestly thought the Texans looked all right. I'm not saying their offense – it was a hard game. The Ravens' defense is crazy. They were in Baltimore. It was raining. It was the game. It was what it was.
And it's
but their defense
game. It's a first game for a rookie quarterback. It's going to be a lot.
Yeah. And their defense was flying all over the place.
Yeah, I have their defense in one of my fantasy leagues, and they play pretty well.
Yeah, I like that Texans defense with the great head coach that they have that I'm blanking on the name of.
D'Amico Ryans.
Thank you. I was going to say that, but I was like, he's been out of the leagues for such a short time that I'm like, he might still be playing.
I was kind of worried about San Francisco in that aspect, but I'm like, yep, but that they just have Pro Bowlers at every position, so whatever.
We already said the Ravens play the Bengals next week. The Colts play the Texans. The Texans play the Colts since we did the Texans game.
That's a very interesting matchup. It's rookie QBs. The Colts defensive line looked pretty strong, so I'm worried for CJ Stroud, but the Texans defense against Anthony Richardson is also very intriguing.
Yeah, I'm hoping they get Jalen Petrie back. They lost him in that game, so I'm hoping he comes back from injury. I hope Jimmy Ward can suit up, make that game a little more entertaining. All right, the 4:00 games are now up, and we start with the team I'm wearing the jersey of that we both picked the opposite team on. You got the Bears getting shellacked by the Packers.
Not surprising, but just not exactly how I expected it to go right now.
So this is one of those teams with the beginning when I said we're not going to have Panic Monday. This is that team. If I'm a Bears fan, I'm fucking jumping up and down and panicking, and I understand it. The offensive line is so fucking bad still.
Yeah.
That no matter how good the rest of your team upgrades were, Justin Fields was running for his life every single fucking snap. And even as a Packers fan, I was like, protect the dude. Let him get a chance to throw. Well, but every single game, he was just getting every single snap. I'm like, the dude is scrambling immediately.
Isn't it kind of an example of the way the two organizations approach the game differently, right? Right now, you have Jordan Love for the Packers, who, like I've said, is like the Loch Ness Monster. There's no tape on him. You don't know how he's been practicing, what he's been doing, nothing. But he looked incredibly comfortable out there.
Yeah.
And then the Bears approach it with, we're going to get rid of everybody. And hopefully Justin Fields can just be Justin Fields and do whatever he wants.
Yeah, I'm not like, I know people are going to say this. I mean, people have already said it. The Bears organization has basically admitted it. This is the year Fields has to prove he's the starter. You can't. It's like Andrew Luck. You can't put everything on the dude when he doesn't. It's fucking Zach Wilson, man.
Yeah, and then wait till you see the fan in a second. Wait till you see the fan.
I'm waiting for it now. Matt Milano, I assume, had the pick. Oh, Jesus Christ. All the hope in the world just left the stadium with one man.
Yeah. Four downs into a game, essentially.
Yeah.
So, yeah, right now, what they're saying is it's his ankle. He's going for x-rays, and he's in a walking boot, and he will most likely not be back tonight. But Milano took, I think, a taunting penalty there, so.
I still think that's the dumbest penalty in a professional sport.
I feel like you should be able to flex on a guy, you know?
I agree. These guys get paid millions. If they're that fragile, go pay for a sports psychiatrist.
It's kind of like baseball, man. Like
it'd be like fining someone for a bat flip. Like, fuck off.
I feel like you should be able to be a little obnoxious if you just hit the ball 460 feet. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like, people get so, like, those traditional baseball fans are like, I'm so tired of these bat flips. Fuck you, man. I'd be fucking. It's the only way you can celebrate.
You know what I'm tired of? The Angels having Ohtani and Trout not making the playoffs, but here we are.
Yeah, right. Like,
it's like, oh, by the way, the Angels did come out today and say Trout is available for trade.
Oh my sweet Jesus Christ!
So, yep.
Well, the offseason's going to be
Ohtani.
The offseason's going to be real interesting.
They're going to need a new GM and a whole new team, but here we are.
They're going to be the worst team in the MLB next year, 100%. That's crazy. I hope we can go get Trout, to be honest.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Anyway, look, so Jordan Love looked great. Didn't have to do anything exceptional, so he just looked what he had to do. He did it well.
But he looked great with rookie wide receivers.
Yeah, they're throwing to literally nobody.
What, Dobbs is the only guy who has a good amount of time,
and he was a rookie last year, so I mean he's a second-year player still. Aaron Jones. I don't know what his injury is. I don't know the significance to the hamstring injury. As of this morning, they said it's still being evaluated and tested, so we'll see. AJ Dillon kind of looked like shit, if I'm being honest. But we used Patrick Taylor, who looked really good yesterday as the third string running back, and then we sent him back to the practice squad today. So I guess fuck me, I don't know. But that I got to give the defense all the credit. I mean, it was just constant pass rush. It was just get in the face as fast as possible and force Justin Fields to be uncomfortable. And that's what you got to do.
They were just showing the
Bears.
Field, they were just showing the field being remade for tonight, by the way, and first time back-to-back primetime games in the same stadium since '87.
It is crazy to me that like a lot of football fans are like, that's the craziest thing ever. I'm like, do you guys realize like they will have NBA games and then NHL games the next day?
They will make ice. They will make ice that fast.
Yeah, that is to me the craziest transition ever.
Like you went from a hardwood floor that's floating to a fucking ice floor on cement in under 24 hours. It's like I'm telling you, the grounds crews for these stadiums, like the Denver thing, doing the Saturday transition to Sunday, going from turf to grass overnight.
Yep.
They're like $400,000 well spent. It's like, that's all it cost? What?
This game might get out of hand like last night.
Yeah. I mean, without Aaron Rodgers, I think it does. Looks like we're going to be even, pal.
Yeah. Bears. Look, I'm sorry, Bears fans. You guys, their defense is all right. Like they did what they could, but Justin Fields has to get protected, or this team is going nowhere fast. It's going to be an ugly season if he just can't get any protection. And they play the Bucs this weekend. So I mean, Fields is going to be running for his life again.
That defense isn't. I wouldn't joke with them because they are going to come after him.
Yeah, Vita Vea is going to be that giant human being. One time on Fields could be real trouble.
I think he either stopped a run or sacked somebody up the middle, and they're like, "Yeah, that's 350 pounds of raw power, bro."
Yeah, that dude is terrifying, and he's such a friendly dude. So it's always funny to see.
Listen, gentle giants are still giants, right?
Yeah. But anyway, the Packers play. I think the Lions next. No, the Falcons. Sorry, I knew that. And the Bears, like I said, play the Bucs. So the next 4:00 game we had is your game. We went back to back on our games. Eagles, Pats.
Surprising game, I would say that.
I mean, booty was booty. Sorry, there's two not getting his feet down catches, and there's two drives. I was like, God damn it, dude. Found myself rooting real hard for you guys to pull that upset.
I once I saw it was 16-0, I was like, okay, I really don't have to pay attention here. But they didn't quit. And Philadelphia just after that had, I think it was 4 straight 3-and-outs. So that defense is going to do everything it can to win games. It's just how can you get the offense to follow suit?
Yeah, Philly, and again, we're not going to panic and say they're in trouble, but no run game means they might struggle a little against good defenses.
And they're playing a number one schedule now.
Yeah, I mean, they could not run the football against the Pats, and that let Jalen Hurts try and throw the ball. And I know he threw the one pick, but Mac Jones had the better game.
Yeah, I actually think Mac Jones ended with a better quarterback rating than Jalen Hurts.
89.2 for Hurts, 91.3 for Mackey.
Yeah. And I think Mac's going to get better now that he has an actual offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and
I don't love Mac Jones, but I like him enough that he's a starter. Like, he's fine.
I actually think with Bill O'Brien, he's going to take a big step forward. You saw Kendrick Bourne, Ramondre Stevenson, Hunter Henry. They all look like they just fit this new offense, and I was like, I'm excited to see what the Patriots do moving forward.
Yeah, I think if they get the opportunity and they see something, they could take a stab at getting another receiver that'll fit, not overspend, but fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, this is the team. Honestly, I think you guys are that team that might try and get Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, maybe.
He's the one guy right now off the top of my head. I'm like on a team that probably wants to trade for more capital, and why not? There's a couple other teams that'll show up towards the middle end of the year, back half of the year that might be willing to move somebody. I don't know who yet because we got to see how the year plays out. But
yeah, you got to see who's in the hunt and who's not. Who's going to lend to players essentially.
Yeah. If DJ was on a 1-year deal, I would even say DJ Moore might be a guy, but he signed a 4-year extension when he got to Chicago, so I don't see him going anywhere.
Unless he just is like, oh, this is what 0-8's like? Shit.
But I don't know. I wasn't blown away by the Eagles, but again, it's week 1. It's after the Super Bowl lull. That happens.
Overreactions happen today. Week 1, Monday.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people going, "Oh man, the Cowboys proved they're way better than the Eagles." I'm like, chill out. It's week 1. All I can say after week 1 is I just want to see how certain players play and the coaches look. And again, offensive lines are what I really will say. You have to see something. And the Bears are one of those teams, and the Vikings are one of those teams where I was like, I didn't see anything. I saw literally their quarterbacks running for their lives. And
I just saw Garrett Wilson talking to Zach Wilson and basically telling him, look, you just look for me. I'll be open. That's what he just like. Literally, that's what it looked like he was telling him.
I know. He's like, I got you. And he's like, I got you. And then patted him on the back.
Find me. I'll catch the ball. Just throw it in my vicinity.
I don't know if you kept your eyes on it, but Allen Lazard looked defeated on the sideline.
Yeah.
My guy's hurt.
Yeah. My guy's out.
All right. We said the Eagles play the Vikings on Thursday night, and you guys play the Dolphins on Sunday night.
Oh, that's good. That intriguing, but after seeing the Dolphins, I'm elevating the Dolphins a bit.
Yeah, I know. We should do power rankings sometime.
Yeah, how about every 4 games, right? What is our 7?
That's what I was going to say. Every 4 weeks.
Every 4, and then that last week going into the playoffs, you can do like an overall.
Yeah. All right, next 4:00 game, and this was a fucking mind blower. The Rams just come in and dominate the Seahawks in the second half.
I don't even understand. This was one of the sure bets of the weekend, man. I don't understand what happened here. I mean, I watched it. I just don't understand.
Yeah, Matt Stafford goes, I don't need Cooper Kupp. I mean, Tutu Atwell had 119 yards.
Puka
Nacua had 15 targets, 10 catches for 119 yards.
He's filling in for Cooper Kupp, and he does what Cooper Kupp does.
Yeah, and he's faster, actually.
That's insane. That's his first NFL game, right?
Yeah, rookie. Yeah.
Just like, hey, I'm Cooper Kupp 2.0.
BYU, I believe. Yeah, out of BYU. And then the running back, look, Cam Akers ran 22 times to get 29 yards. But Kyron Williams ran 15 times for 52 yards and had 2 tutties. I think the answer is clear for them. They have their number 1 back.
I think with McVay, it's going to be still more split time than you think.
I know. I just think that's, if you want to progress, you use the guy who's doing well. And I think Kyron is – you got to limit Kyron, though. He's a Notre Dame guy. He'll miss 5 games. If you play him too much, he'll get hurt. So you got to be very
4 to
careful.
6, so we're just calling it 5 now? 5's the average?
Yeah, 5.
Okay.
I'm just going to go with 5. I don't know.
All right.
I mean, you could have do what Michael Mayer did and play the game and just do nothing so you can't get hurt. I think that was productive.
Listen, you got to work him into the system. You know what I mean?
I was just trying to get.
I was just waiting for it. I'm like, if we just keep poking this bear, eventually somebody's going to show up in chat.
And on the flip side, Geno Smith did basically nothing because his team decided it was time to get hurt together. I don't.
It was such a weird game. Like DK Metcalf was probably Seattle's best player. I don't even know, but probably like, it doesn't make sense. I guess this is the NFL. This is why the NFL is great, is because I was completely wrong on this one.
Yeah, me too. I thought this was going to be a blowout, to be fair.
I just, it's just, Kenneth Walker looked pretty okay.
By the way, for the record, one of my bold predictions for the Rams, I predicted that Tutu Atwell will finish the year with 900 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He's well on his way.
Seattle, though, I don't know. I'm not panicking yet. It's Panic Monday for everybody. It's not Panic Monday for me for Seattle yet. It's a division rival, and it's a team they actually historically have struggled with. So,
yeah, and I think they weren't. I mean, Geno came out and said, the Rams wanted it more. You can say everything you want, but at the end of the day, they've flat out outplayed you. You know what I mean?
That's
like
not pass interference. Sit the fuck down, James.
Not at all. He got his hand up, and that's great. Done. Yep, it hit him before it even hit the guy's hands. So whatever. Yeah. I just think the Eagles' struggles are the Eagles' struggles, which is that defensive line.
The Rams? Oh, the Seahawks.
Seahawks, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they couldn't get after Stafford. I think that game would have been different if they put pass rush in.
And I did hear people saying that the Rams are going to be more dangerous than people think if Stafford's playing because he's pretty damn good.
Yeah, and if you let him stand in the pocket comfortably, he's going to pick you apart. I don't care if you give him 5 people from the parking lot. Stafford's good enough that if you don't put pressure on him, he'll pick you apart. And the Seahawks put 0 pressure on him.
Oh, none. So, I mean, he was fine the whole game.
I mean, he wasn't sacked. I think he had 3 hurries. That was about it, if I remember the stat line correctly. Like, Seattle didn't come to play football.
And Geno looked like the Geno of old, but I think I sent you that video today where Aaron Donald came through clean, and he just threw the ball and was like, oh, no.
I love the interview with Aaron Donald. And Aaron Donald was like, because I missed so much time last year, I feel like I'm a rookie again and have to reestablish that I'm actually good in the league. And I was like, that is the craziest thing I think I've ever heard from one of the greatest, if not the greatest defensive player to ever play the game.
We did have a YouTube question come in about lineup and possible trades.
Yeah, I see that. Team is Kirk, Bijan, Gibbs, A.J. Brown, Godwin, Goddard, Stevenson, benches, JSN, Charbonnet. I lost myself.
Sutton, Christian Kirk, Daniel Jones, Bateman, and Mingo.
Lost first week to Cowboys D. Any trades I should make or waivers?
If the only reason you lost to the Cowboys D, I would say no. It's too early to make a decision because there may come a time when you need something and you have capital. If
waivers, it would come down to who's in your waivers. I do worry a little about Mingo.
Yeah. But you're talking that's at the bottom of the roster anyways.
Yeah.
You're really looking at what can I trade start-wise to win that game, and there probably isn't much you can do because the Cowboys D outscored almost they probably were the best defense this week.
I mean, it outscored Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Let's be real. No, I think your team's actually pretty damn good. What you need is Kirk Cousins not to decide to play like Baker Mayfield when he's playing against Baker Mayfield. Like, he didn't need that pick and the 2 fumbles lost. Like, your team is actually really fucking good.
I think if there's one thing you can do is look for another quarterback between Daniel Jones and Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, those 2 are very hit or miss quarterbacks. But again, if you're doing waivers, I don't know what you're going to do.
Your hardest decision is going to be which one to start each week. That's for your team. Your hardest decision is going to be QB week to week.
Yeah, and I don't think you have enough off your bench to pull a different quarterback in a trade. Cortland Sutton, maybe.
Yeah, Cortland Sutton, Christian Kirk would have to actually see targets for him to get, any value.
Any quarterbacks I should trade for? Trying to think of who might not be as highly valued as could be valued.
I mean, I think Kirk is going to be fine, to be honest, but that was a really bad showing. And Daniel Jones, I think, might obviously be better because he was running for his life. So I think you're okay. I wouldn't do any. This is overreaction Monday. It really is. Like, everybody reacts week one. Give it 3 games. Just give it 3 games.
I will say, if you can get Gus Edwards or Justice Hill, I don't know who you would drop, but those two are going to see a very big uptick in value. Gus Edwards is going to be the one now, and Justice Hill is going to be the red zone back. And Baltimore will always run the football. And most likely, they're both free agents. But again, I don't know who you would drop.
Yeah. Tough.
Maybe Mingo. Unless it's Dynasty. But if it's not Dynasty, I would say Mingo is probably your safest bet. I don't know his value yet. It has yet to be shown. I thought without DJ Shark, he would show it. Again, he's a rookie, so maybe it's harder to build in with a rookie quarterback. But that's another reason I'd be a little worried about Mingo, is having the rookie quarterback throw into a rookie receiver. It might take time to establish. But again, your loss isn't bad. Losing to the Cowboys is not a bad defense, was not a bad thing. You see Mac Jones on waivers. Now, that is tempting.
I'd probably drop like Daniel Jones and pick up Mac Jones.
I would drop Danny Dimes for Mac Jones. If you see Mac Jones on waivers, I would take him over Danny Dimes.
Yeah, for sure. I just
because we saw it. I mean, you see how bad the offensive line was with the Giants. That's going to be a problem all season because they play the Eagles twice, they play the Commanders twice, and the Cowboys. So that's 6 games of getting run for his life, and I don't even know the rest of his schedule, but that's already as rough as it gets.
So let me pull that up real quick because we can give it to him so he can see which teams are coming after him. So they got the Cardinals next week, but they get the 49ers week 3.
Yeah.
Seahawks, okay, fine. But they get the Dolphins after that.
Who just chased Herbert for his life.
Then you get the Bills, who just chased Aaron Rodgers from a game.
Commanders. Then the Jets.
Then the Jets. And then the Raiders.
Danny's going to be running for his life.
You get the Patriots after the Commanders and Cowboys. You get the Packers. So, yeah, get rid of Danny Dimes.
Who is your other? You don't have another tight end, if I'm looking at this correctly, actually.
No, I think Goddard will see.
Who's on waivers really is what it would come down to. Like, is there really anyone better than Goddard on waivers at this point?
You got to look week to week points wise, right?
Like, there was no big tight end play this week, to be fair. Hurst, I don't know if I would drop Goddard, but maybe Hayden Hurst might be a guy you go get instead of Mingo since they're on the same team.
I would say
because Hayden Hurst was the comfort blanket for Bryce Young. He absolutely loved Hayden Hurst in that game.
I would say if you're looking to make a move this early, the drops would be Daniel Jones and Mingo and pick up Mac Jones and Hurst.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Because I love Hayden Hurst, and I said this year might be the year he can really break out with a young quarterback who's going to need to feel safety. A lot of young rookies feel safety with their tight end, and Hayden Hurst is a very good, powerful tight end who can get that 5 yards of contact. He can create some space, and
Laporta may be the play here.
Oh, I didn't see this. Laporta's the play.
I think Laporta's the play here.
I love Hurst, but he doesn't have a guarantee at quarterback. Laporta has a guarantee at quarterback.
And Laporta just put up some points in a game for his first game ever. He's going to grow.
Yeah, I would pick Laporta, and I would either drop Mingo or Bateman. I do worry about Bateman because Bateman is third string on the Ravens, and Lamar doesn't spread the ball very well. Mark Andrews is going to come back, and Bateman, he only saw 4 targets, and with Mark Andrews back, that might hit 0.
Yeah, he's kind of boomer bust. He might go one long catch a game, if that.
Yeah. Because Laporta is huge, and Laporta against certain teams, he plays in the NFC North. The games against the Bears, Laporta's an automatic go. The games against the Vikings, you would assume he's an automatic go. Hold on, let me pull up the Lions. Let's do you right here. See how easy his schedule will be against linebackers and safeties. He gets the Seahawks this week, so that should be a good game for him. The Falcons. Hayden Hurst did pretty damn well, so I would assume Laporta can do pretty well. The Packers, that'll be rough because it's Thursday Night Football. That's going to be a very chippy game.
Right.
But then the Panthers, the Bucs. Yeah, I think Laporta has a very favorable matchup, except for Week 7 coming up because he'll have the Ravens. I wouldn't touch that. But yeah, Sam Laporta, big time. That's a huge free agent. We'll keep answering anything else you have, by the way. Don't mind us continuing with our little game talk. We're always glad to answer fantasy questions. Can we cover the most important topic? All right. Well, Bricklin, I don't know what the most important topic is. Is it Rodgers going down? I assume. Chris Jones getting signed? Those are 2 biggest topics.
I am vaping a strawberry honey graham. So it's strawberries, honey, and graham crackers.
Those who didn't see it's delicious. These are the questions. I don't even remember who we just did. Oh, Rams Seahawks. All right. Coming in here trolling. That's fine. How you doing, Bricklin? How's Chris?
We're always down for a good troll too. It's got to happen. Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, I love those things that live under the bridge.
I have one that lives under my fridge. Her name is Pancake, and she likes deli meat.
I said this after the game happened, and I said this morning, and I will say it on the air. I would have been more okay with the Bears winning than I am about the game we're about to talk about. But we're about to talk about the Miami Dolphins beating the Chargers 36-34.
I think it was the best game of the day.
Yeah, I think you guys and the Dolphins at Chargers game were the best too. Like, I was really entertained by your guys' game. At 16-0, I was like, this sucks. And then it started to get real close, and I was like, ooh, this is fun. And then they decided to go for it on 4th down on their own side of the field, and you guys turned it over, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a hell of a finish. Like, you guys kept me interested with the Patriots, but this Dolphins-Chargers game was a hell of a game. Kirk is versing Philly next week, and Mac Jones is versing the Dolphins. I would say Mac Jones. The Dolphins defense is nowhere near as good as what Philly will do to Kirk Cousins. Unless Dot disagrees. I don't fucking know.
Kirk versus Philly, Mac versus the Dolphins.
Oh, and Kirk is Thursday Night Football in primetime.
Yeah, Mac Jones.
Mac just threw for 54 pass attempts. With Bill O'Brien, I think they're going to let him throw the ball.
Yeah,
we're always here. We love helping anybody out. We might not always be right. We'll never claim to always be right.
No, we'll be wrong, but at least.
But we're fantasy. We're really good at fantasy football. I mean, Dot won our league last year. I won it the year before. Dot won both championships he was in last year. I was in the playoffs in both, and we're knowledgeable when it comes to football. We're very opinionated in other sports, but we're very factual for football. We don't tell you what the media always says.
I just like statistics. That's it.
And Bricklin, suck my butt. Chargers are my AFC team, and I fucking hate every
I know. I love the
game.
Chargers, but I'll tell you what, Miami definitely moved up my rankings board with that, the way they showed up.
As of right now, it's just Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and then Sundays 11:30-ish before the games, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, to talk all injuries and fantasy updates before the games go live on Sunday. Sorry. We are looking. I don't know about Dot because I know Dot's a lot more busy than I am, but I am looking for other nights. If anyone wants to join the show and become a third member, we are always welcome to join. Anybody to join.
Yeah, we used to do Thursday nights as well, right before the game. We get some other sports in, and
Yeah, we used to do Thursday nights. Me and Chewy would kick it off with soccer, and then we would transition to me and you on football. So um, that was a good time. But we're always willing to open up. We always welcome anyone to the show, guest, regular appearance guy. We don't care. We love football. We love sports in general. Me and Dot watch everything. I mean,
Dude, you can catch me on Sunday nights after football, catching a late night cricket game, a tennis match. Doesn't matter. I like sports, period. Doesn't matter what you
Yeah.
want to ask or what sport. I'll look into it. I don't know what's going on in cricket, but I certainly want to learn.
we appreciate it on the YouTube sub.
Yes,
We really
appreciate
appreciate
the
it. We
sub.
just started the YouTube channel like 3 weeks ago, so we really appreciate it. We're trying to grow. We love to talk sports. We're very, like I said, we're not going to do what the media does. We don't have an agenda, right? We don't have to tell you Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback every 5 plays because we all know it.
Oh, your kids got you hooked on college volleyball. Is that your kids got you hooked on college volleyball? Or
well,
did
his kid make.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably. I think there's a certain
appendage.
outfits they wear that might have gotten you hooked on volleyball.
Sure, Brooklyn.
Yeah, I believe you.
So me and you before the show, we talked about what we thought about this weekend. And the thing I said was Colin Cowherd really opened my eyes to something about the Chargers. And look, the Dolphins did what they did. I got to give them all the credit in the world. Tua looked fucking unbelievable. Tyreek Hill looked unguardable.
Yeah, well, he was covered by Just Can't Jackson.
At what point do you not just switch Asante Samuel Jr. over there? I don't.
It was dumb to let it go that long.
But the thing that Colin Cowherd said that really intrigued me was, and I always forget his name. Give me the coach's name again.
Brandon Staley.
Brandon Staley is supposed to be a defensive guru. Since he's taken over as the Chargers head coach, they have finished bottom 6 in defensive categories across the board all 3 years.
And spent more on defensive players than anybody else.
You have Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Eric Kendricks, J.C. Jackson, Derwin James, and Asante Samuel Jr., and you can't play defense. You have to go, this is our coach. Someone needs to wake up and go, our coach is a fucking problem. He's supposed to be good at defense, but the team can't play defense.
I think the writing's already on the wall. I think if at the end of this year they don't make the playoffs, Kellen Moore becomes the head coach.
Wasn't that impressed by him either.
No, I still think I understand.
Herbert looked like Dak.
Bro, they lost by 2. Okay, I get it.
228 passing yards.
It's the first game. Relax.
I'm like, dude, this was supposed to be the time to air it out, and he did not air it out. And
listen, Dak only aired it out in fucking games where they were behind by 30 going into the 4th. Okay, relax. First game, lots of new pieces. They're getting into it. They looked okay. Again, they hung. You had Tyreek Hill go for what? Fucking 200 and something yards and 2 touchdowns, looked unguardable. Okay.
Anytime, Brooklyn.
You literally lost that game because you couldn't advance the ball in the 2-minute drill. I get it. But Miami's defense is pretty good.
That pass rush is hungry.
So
that was crazy.
Just, again, it's overreaction Monday. It really is.
I will say this. We talked about it before the game, and we were like, oh, maybe the fans will be there. No, that was an away game for the Chargers in L.A. Those Dolphins fans were so loud.
I told you that, man. It's a weird thing when you don't have your own stadium. Now, it's different for New York and the Jets because it's literally there.
Yeah, and they see it as a rivalry to be more competitive and rooting for their team in New York.
The Rams and the Chargers don't see it that way.
No, it's just LA. It's a relaxed.
Yeah, LA just picks whatever team is better and roots for them.
Yeah, that's why the Clippers get no love and the Lakers get all the love. Like, it's just simple. But there was a breakout star in this game for the Chargers. Joshua Kelly fucking looked phenomenal at running back.
Yeah, again, I think that's kind of, you're going to test him out because if you lose Eckler in the offseason, then you kind of have to, right? Like, you have to go to the next option. And he has been a suitable backup. And I think if Eckler wants the money, he's going to get the Dalvin Cook treatment, and it's going to be like, all right, go play somewhere else.
But I don't remember who you guys play the Dolphins next week. You guys better cover Tyreek Hill. That's all I'm going to say. I could not believe how wide open he was sometimes.
You can't have J.C. Jackson just up on the line trying to. Tyreek Hill is not only fast, he's compact, but he's strong. You can't jam him on the line because now when you jam him on the line, 10 yards down the field, he's 5 yards beyond you.
Yeah, no, you have to give him space. You have to be able to absorb the speed. You cannot just block it off and expect to hold him back. Like you said, he's not just a small little fast dude. He is a very physically built, strong dude. And dude, Zach Wilson is just getting bum rushed.
Yep.
I mean, I know the Jets have no offensive line, but this just looks terrible.
Yeah. This is really bad. Like, just terrible.
And he looks defeated. He looks defeated already. Like he's like, what do I do?
He's getting hit. Oh, that should have been a penalty, actually.
Oh yeah, grabbed his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 100% a penalty.
But it's because of Zach Wilson, he's not going to get that call.
Yeah, if that was Rodgers, that whole team would have been fighting.
Oh, yeah. Good throw, though. Good throw. And it's Wilson to Wilson, of course.
Like you said he even told him before.
He said, find me. Find me. If you get enough time, you should be looking at me. Like, I will catch the ball. That's
what Anquan Bolden used to tell his young quarterbacks. Get me the ball. I'll take care of the business.
That was in pretty good coverage. And Wilson just said, look, I'm better.
Yeah. Anyway, the Chargers need to rebound next week. They can't afford every AFC team that was supposed to be a Super Bowl contender, except for the Bills, will start 0-1 this year. The Chargers get to rebound with the Titans, so they should rebound well. That was a good run by Dalvin Cook. I thought he's good, though.
A variable coach defense can be tough. Now, should the Tannehill offense be able to keep up? No, but obviously with what we saw this
I think it'll be a good game. Yeah, I think it'll be like a 27-23 game. That's the annoying thing about the Titans. We say they're not good, but the reason they'll be good this year or competitive is because Derrick Henry will do Derrick Henry things while the defense plays the other side of the ball very well.
Right. So
they could have won that game against the Saints if Tannehill didn't do Tannehill things and throw 3 picks.
Oh, man, Breece Hall is just the man.
I mean, they have 2 pieces on this offense that can carry it without Rodgers. I'm not saying they'll win this game, but if Rodgers misses an extended period of time, you got to hope Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson can carry you.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, if Rodgers does miss extended period of time, who do they play next? The Cowboys.
Oh, that's going to be a shellacking.
Yeah, that offensive line.
Ow.
Garrett Wilson will be dead. If I'm Aaron, if that injury is like even questionable, I don't even want to come back next week.
Right.
I'm like, all right, I'll wait 1 extra week.
Like, nah, I'm good.
All right. Well, we just talked. Oh, wait, no, there's one more. I forgot about this game. Raiders Broncos.
Jimmy GQ.
Yeah, I loved what I saw out of Jimmy G. The pick was the pick, whatever. The Broncos defense is phenomenal. But Jimmy actually looked all right for his first game with a new team.
And found, another New England Patriot as his go-to target.
Before that nasty hit, Jacoby Myers was all over the field.
Yeah, they don't think he's playing next week.
And, Russell didn't throw a pick. He only threw 7 incompletions. Russell, I got to give him credit, looked all right.
Yeah.
Nothing spectacular, but he looked all right.
Should you have won that game? Probably against that Raiders defense, but okay, you lost by 1. You were in the game.
Yeah, I don't know. There's still no receivers down in Denver. Samaj Perine is your leading receiver. Like, I don't
Right.
Well,
Jerry Jeudy didn't play, right? He was out.
Yeah.
Courtland Sutton did play.
Was
Yeah.
Their best receiver yesterday was he was their best receiver because Adam Troutman's a tight end. He was the number 2 in receptions. So
yeah, rough.
Yeah, I thought Marvin Mims was going to get involved in that game. To be honest, I had a DraftKings lineup where I put Marvin Mims was an anytime scorer. I was a little disappointed to see him really do nothing.
Hmm.
But it's week one, new team.
Yeah,
Just
again,
like we said, no one overreact. The only teams that need to be a little panicked are honestly the Steelers with Pickett a little bit. Again, it's the Niners, so I'm giving them a little more leniency than I am the Bears. The
Yeah.
Bears, they have to panic. That offensive line can't protect their quarterback, then he's going to be running. I mean, they play the fucking Bucks this week, and they play the Eagles at some point this year. Justin Fields is a guy who really has franchise type talent. You got to give him a chance to throw the football.
Yeah, I think there's a couple teams where panic, it's not so much overreaction today. And I think you nailed them. Otherwise, I think it's, like I said, give it 3 or 4 weeks. You can really start to gauge teams. But the Bears are going to be the Bears. Let's see what the Steelers become. They started awful last year and got better as the year went on. So,
yeah, they won 6 of the last 7 games, if I remember correctly, something like that. They were rolling last year.
Give me 1 second. I got a puppy real quick. So,
like you're going to become one?
No. Same thing you do. Just got to let her out of the basement. So, all right, give me 1 second.
Yeah, you're good. But yeah, we got one game left to talk about. But I don't know. I'm not like we've said. Everyone is panicking. Social media has gone nuts. The media guys on TV have gone nuts. The only teams, and I did forget to say one. Offensively, don't panic because they were okay offensively. But the Chargers, it is time to worry about what we're seeing defensively. It is consistently every single year with Brandon Staley as your head coach. He's supposed to be a defensive-minded guy, and the defense can't play football. And you have superstars all over the field. You have to start, if you're a Chargers fan, if this continues, if that defense struggles, say Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins come out and tear your defense apart, it is time to already start saying we need a coaching consideration. Like, this team cannot continue to struggle defensively and no one do anything about it. The Chargers have invested so much time and effort into this team. They signed Herbert to this long-term deal for a lot of money. It is time for the Chargers fans to panic if their defensive-minded coach can't coach defense. Because Herbert can't play the game on both sides of the field, and neither can the running backs.
And you, if they stay healthy this year, can you really say injury bug did us in? You can't.
Yeah, no, that's, like I said, that's the only other team I'd be panic about, and it's not the whole team; it's that defense. You have too much talent.
I think it's the
bad.
coach.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Is he the coordinator? Now I'm curious. I'm going to Google it.
I don't know that piece, but I feel like if you're a defensive guru, wouldn't you run the defense?
He is the defensive coordinator.
Okay, so now, yeah.
He is an assistant defensive coordinator named Ronaldo Hill, but he is the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay, let's take a look at this.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be like if the Packers offense really fell apart without Rodgers, you'd be like, okay, well, should Matt LaFleur really be the offensive coordinator? But they still did everything they normally do. And I was like, all right, Matt LaFleur is just a good offensive-minded coach. That was one thing I was curious of. What is Matt LaFleur without Rodgers? And I know it's one game, so we'll see how it continues. But I didn't feel like they lost a step. And I was like, okay. But anyway, final game of the week we didn't talk about yet, and it was the most boring Sunday night football game of all time, unless you're a Cowboys fan. 40-0. That Cowboys defense was freaking all over.
Blocked the field
Daniel
goal for a
Jones.
touchdown. Did they return one for a touchdown, an interception?
I can check in 2 seconds.
So I think they had 2 scores on defense.
I thought it was that fumble recovery of Zeke. Not Zeke. Saquon. But let me check. I don't. Easier way to tell. Drives.
The cornerback had a return for a touchdown. Deron Bland.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep.
And Igbegin, the cornerback, also had a touchdown.
He was the guy who picked up the fumble, the block kick.
Yeah. So yeah, they had 2 scores on defense. Yeah, and because Dak's numbers were pedestrian.
Oh, okay. So this is what, and I'm just going to repeat what Richard Sherman said basically, but 52% completion percentage for only 143 yards. And as he said, a quarter of those, 50 of those yards came on one pass to CeeDee Lamb.
Right.
In a blowout, your quarterback was the least effective member of the entire team. It's consistently going to be a problem with Dak. And it's what I said before the game, actually, that Gerald McCoy told Michael Irvin. Your team is phenomenal everywhere, but your quarterback is continuously pedestrian and makes dumb mistakes. And we didn't see any mistakes in this game, but again, still nothing exciting out of Dak Prescott, which is just going to be a big question.
I've said it a lot, man. Dak's numbers, for everybody saying Dak is this great quarterback, a lot of his numbers come from garbage time games.
Yeah.
So I don't. Tony Pollard, good. Probably the best player on offense. CeeDee Lamb might be next. Outside of those two, I mean, who are you looking at? Brandon Cooks, maybe. Maybe. We'll see what he becomes. What, Kavontae Turpin, one of the newer wide receivers? Maybe.
Yeah, that kick returner, man. He's a good kick returner, too.
Michael Gallup still there. You gave away your tight end, so good luck there.
Yeah, I don't know. Dak said he loves Jake Ferguson, but I saw too. And Jake's a Wisconsin guy, and everyone knows how much I love my Wisconsin boys. But Jake did indeed drop 2 passes yesterday. One should have been a touchdown. So,
yeah, and who did they lose because of that? Who did they lose because that was the direction they wanted to go?
Yeah,
Dalton Schultz.
Yeah. Who did nothing in Houston, but as you said, CJ Stroud will get that connection. It's just going to take time.
Right.
But I was very disappointed in the Giants. I kept trying to walk away from the game, but I was just so in love with the fact that football is back. Like, I don't normally watch Monday Night Football because I
kind of watched it like glancingly. I was playing a game at the same time because it was like, well, this game's over. Like, they're not coming back.
Yeah, when it was 23-0, I was like, if the Giants do not score on this drive, I'm done. And then I just kept watching, and I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah, like I feel like I know the outcome. Why am I still watching?
So I old manned when it went to I became an old man at halftime and said, I'm just going to bed. And I just turned it off, and I went to bed.
Old man.
I couldn't do it. I just couldn't fucking do it.
Well, we covered the Cowboys scoring summary. Should we cover the Giants? All right, guys. Good night.
It's like there's nothing to even say about the Giants except for their offensive line is atrocious.
Yeah. And Saquon is good. I mean, I hate the fact that the Giants paid Daniel Jones what they did. It's so bad.
That's what Sherman said. Sherman goes, the most overpaid average quarterback in the NFL is who the Cowboys beat.
It's either him or Tannehill.
Yeah. I think Tannehill's below average now.
I do too, to be honest.
But the one thing I'll say out of the Giants is Andrew Thomas only let Micah Parsons get 1 sack.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's nothing positive to take away from the Giants this game. But, you know, you got sacked 7 times, but at least Micah Parsons was only 1. I think that's terrifying for the rest of the league, though. The Cowboys can get 7 sacks when their best sack guy only gets 1 of those 7.
Well, because you have to put so much effort into covering that guy, right?
Yeah.
So you lose.
I don't know if he was. I don't know if he was injured or if they're like preventing him from being on the field during running snaps yesterday. He was only on the field for about 72% of the defensive snaps, which I thought was interesting.
I mean, that number's probably going to be skewed with how much they were winning by.
Well, no, I meant in the first half. Sorry. I don't know what he finished.
Okay.
They took him off the game. It took him off at the end of the game because they were just going to they have 2 rookie pass rushers. They were going to let them feast at the end of the game if they could. But But yeah, the first half, and I said something during the game. I was like, why is he on the sideline so much? And it was always on rundown. So I was like, maybe he's not good at containing the run. He really isn't. He's one of those guys that just wants to use his speed to push into the middle of the field. So that's one thing he's always struggled with, and that's why they made him a straight up pass rusher instead of a linebacker like he was drafted as. So I'm wondering if that's just their strat now is run downs against run heavy teams. They're just going to let him stand on, miss first down and then become the beast on the rest. Which is fine. And that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. I mean, they were perfect. So, and I'm not going to question Dan Quinn. I mean, Dan Quinn is probably the best defensive coordinator in football. I mean, just flat out. The guy is brilliant.
He's definitely up there if he's not the number one.
Yeah, I mean, for those who don't remember, he was the defensive coordinator for the Seahawks when they were the Legion of Boom. And now he's this defensive coordinator of this crazy good Dallas Cowboys defense. So,
right.
All right, let's see if we have anyone to raid. We'll be back as we guys. Oh, wait, we have to pick week 2.
Thursday night game, right?
We don't really have to spend a lot of time picking this because I'm going to tell you straight up. I'm taking the Eagles. The Eagles at home on Thursday Night Football. Their first game at home after the Super Bowl run, and it's against Kirk Cousins in primetime. I'm going to take the Eagles.
Right now, with Philly at home, they are a 7-point favorite.
Jesus.
And the pick'em is 64.5% in favor of the Eagles, 35.2% in favor of the Vikings. I'm going to go Eagles here as well. I think it'd be kind of ridiculous not to after seeing what we just saw. Because if you think the Tampa Bay defense can get after Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, last year, for those who don't remember, this was a 24-7 game in Philly, in favor of Philly.
Yeah, and that is because Philly kind of let off the gas.
Yeah, 21 points were in the first half.
So I think it's just one of those games where Philly gets up and they're like, oh, we just hand the ball to our running backs for the rest of the game. No need to risk it.
Yeah, I think Philly's going to rebound well from a shaky game against the Patriots. But again, I think Mac Jones just really stepped up. I think him and Bill.
I hate, and I'm a Patriots fan, so let's get that out there. But I just think that people are too quick to move off the guy. It's like, he's not Trevor Lawrence, but he didn't have a fucking offensive coordinator.
No, that's what, like I said, people keep, and I know the other thing, people shit on Bill O'Brien because of all the trades he made when he became GM/coach.
He's still a great offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I mean, he was the offensive coordinator of Bryce Young.
Mm-hmm.
In Alabama. We see what he is. So him with Mac Jones, I'm really excited to see. I think this is going to be something that grows into something even better this year. So, but anyway, we'll talk about the Patriots on Sunday when we pick that game against the Dolphins because I'm really having a hard time with it mentally right now anyway. But we're both taking the Eagles. I think this game will probably be about a 7-point game like the spread says. I think the Vikings bounce a little bit back from what we just saw, but I don't think it's anywhere near enough. I think it'll be probably 14, 15 points, and then you'll get that late score just to close the game type thing.
Yeah, it's kind of why it's 7 points right now is you still have Justin Jefferson, so they could throw a late touchdown.
Yeah. I mean, Darius Slay and Justin Jefferson will be a fun matchup to watch. I'm pretty excited to watch that matchup, but yeah, Kirk Cousins struggled with the Bucs pass rush. I don't know what he's going to do with the Georgia Bulldogs pass rush. So,
yeah.
But all right, I'll check for a raid. I didn't think I had anyone.
Chewy's on.
Oh, Chewy's live on a Monday?
No Son of Mine he's playing.
No, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Yeah.
But we know how much Chewy is a legend, so yeah. All right, YouTube viewers, Facebook viewers, I know you guys don't get to go through the raid with us, so we want to thank you so much for hanging out and the questions on fantasy football today. We really appreciate you.
Eagles are always good to give up points. I don't think it's necessarily that. Did Josh Allen just throw another pick? Yes, he did. In the red zone, or not in the red zone, but in the end zone.
Wait, that's 2 now?
Yep, to the same guy. Whitehead both times.
So is he now tied for the lead in interceptions already?
I think so.
Because I don't think anyone threw 3 this weekend.
Tannehill.
Kiwi, I love you. Good luck in surgery. Keep me updated. Oh, so Tannehill leads. That's right.
Yes, Kiwi. Let us know if you need anything. Not that we can do much from here, but obviously we can, be the distraction.
It's weird to see God get a surgery. All right, hold on. How do I spell this name?
Wow,
It's
and
just
Diggs,
straight up.
Diggs
Okay.
even took a hack at his arms, and he still caught that. Hello, good catch.
But we're gonna drop some love on Chewy. If you guys can hang out for the Twitch viewers and just give him a little bit of love when we go in there. He's playing a
Good
game he's
old
never played. It'll be
Chucifer.
cool to see. And he's a good guy. You know, he used to be part of the team before he had 2 children. Crotch goblins tend to take away your time.
Listen,
So,
sometimes that's a symptom of something we practice.
but anyway, we're gonna rate Chewy. We'll be back Sunday at 11:30 ish in the morning. We love you guys. You guys want to talk football, ask fantasy questions, hear our predictions for the rest of the week, just come chat with us on Sunday morning. We'll appreciate the hell out of it. We love you guys.
Love it. Have a good night, guys. Appreciate you.
It says we're still live. Hold on.